Imagine this. It's September 1983. The world is a hair's breadth away from total annihilation. Not because of a political crisis, not because a madman pressed a button, but because of a single tiny mistake inside a computer. A mistake that told one man, "You are under nuclear attack. The clock is ticking." This is the story of the biggest mistake that didn't happen, and the one man who saved the world by simply not believing his computer. To understand the mistake, we need to understand the time. The Cold War was at its absolute freezing point. The Soviet Union and the United States were playing a deadly game of chess with the entire planet as the board. Our hero is Stanislav Petrov, a lieutenant colonel in the Soviet Air Defense Forces. His job, to sit in a secret bunker called Serpukhov south of Moscow and watch the screens. His job was simple, yet terrifying. If the U.S. launched a nuclear missile, he would be the first to know. His only role was to confirm the attack and relay the information up the chain of command. That information would trigger the Soviet counterattack. It was a system designed for speed. No time for debate. If the alarm sounded, it meant war. At 12:40 a.m., the silence was shattered. The main screen flashed bright red. Petrov's mind raced. The system, known as OCO, was designed to detect incoming missiles from U.S. bases. It was telling him one missile is heading towards the USSR. Then, the unthinkable happened. The system didn't stop at one. It reported a second, then a third, a fourth, a fifth. 5 nuclear missiles. The protocol was clear. Immediate counterattack. Petrov had minutes, maybe seconds, to make the call. But Stanislav Petrov had a strange feeling in his gut, a feeling that the most powerful, complex machine in the world was wrong. He asked himself 2 questions. The first, if the U.S. was going to launch a first strike, would they only send 5 missiles? The answer was a resounding no. A first strike would be an all-out, massive assault to cripple the Soviet Union instantly. 5 missiles was a ridiculous, almost polite number. The second question, was the satellite system perfect? He remembered that the OCO system was new, and he knew that a launch detection system should have thousands of confirmations, not just one satellite. He had no radar confirmation, no ground reports, nothing against all protocol. Against the screaming red lights, against the fear of being wrong and starting a nuclear war. Petrov decided it was a false alarm. He picked up the phone and reported a system malfunction to his superiors. He was right. The biggest mistake was not human, but technical. The OCO system had mistaken sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds for the heat signature of us. Missile launches. The system was flawed. A multi-billion-dollar mistake of engineering that almost ended civilization. The biggest mistake in this story was the system's failure. But the biggest lesson is the triumph of human logic over blind technology. Stanislav Petrov, the man who was just doing his job, chose to trust his common sense over the panic of the machine. He received no reward, no medals. He was simply reprimanded for not keeping a proper log. But the truth is, he is the reason you and I are here today. This was the biggest mistake that almost destroyed us. But what about the mistakes that did happen? If you want to see the biggest financial mistake in history, or the biggest engineering mistake that cost billions, subscribe to EggTalks. We break down the biggest mistakes so you can learn from them. Hit the like button and tell me in the comments, what historical mistake do you want to see explained next? See you in the next video.